Welcome back in. Here we are for another episode of Where the Game Lives On, the official podcast of the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for joining us on week of release here in the middle of February. We are well into season 3. As you were probably noticing already, if you're watching on YouTube, Byron Shive is not with us today. We've got some busy things going on at the Hall of Fame, but we are very excited to say we have a special guest joining us, NFL veteran lineman, and now, hey, Missouri Sports Hall of Famer, Justin Britt. How are we doing today, sir?
I'm doing some really good, man. Doing really good. The kids are back in school after the 4-day weekend, so things are great.
Absolutely. I appreciate you repping the brand there. We love seeing that. We always try to hook up our inductees. So, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure to have you in town. Want to give you a little bit of a more introduction. Lebanon High School graduate, signed to play at Mizzou. You were a 2013 All-SEC selection, also a Cotton Bowl champion. The last Cotton Bowl Mizzou won until this past season, I might say. Then, of course, went on to play in Seattle for several years. That's who drafted you. And then finished up in Houston. You were inducted as a member of the Hall of Fame earlier this month, and congratulations again on that. Can't say that enough. What was that experience like, looking back here on February 4th, being back in your home state, and I don't know, just kind of relive that day for me?
It was really cool. I remember waking up and it was a little overcast, a little rain. I was like, oh, this is beautiful, a little Seattle for the day. But it was great. We got to meet a lot of wonderful people. The class was special. I felt like it was an honor to be inducted with the individuals and the teams that also were inducted. And, I knew emotions were going to run high. I just didn't know when, but I made it through my speech. Only forgot to thank a couple people, but I got to thank them afterwards. So overall, it was a great day and a blessing for sure.
We had a video that played for you on your induction, and several of your coaches you had at Lebanon said, even when you got into high school, whenever you were still an underclassman, they knew that you were something special, that you had talent. So I'm just curious, was it ever a thought in your mind, being from the 417, growing up here, did you ever think, oh, I could be a Missouri Sports Hall of Famer one day?
Absolutely not. No, I didn't think, like when I got the call this year, it was like, what? You know what I mean? I think that's the lineman in me. I didn't expect to have recognition. I thought I was going to walk away from the game and it was going to be, that's it, like history. But back in Lebanon, back in the 417, no, I knew I was going to go D1. That was my goal. At the time, Kansas State was the only one showing interest. And then Coach Christian and but Coach Christian took the team up to Mizzou for a weekend camp. And I took that as an opportunity. Coach Christian and his staff hyped me up. They told me this was my moment. And I took it and ran with it. And, the camp ended on a Saturday. Sunday, me and my dad went and stayed at a hotel, washed all my clothes, and then I was there for another week-long wrestling camp, and they offered me the first day for football. So, I don't know if I ended up at Mizzou, you know what I mean? If we didn't go to that camp.
Wow.
Back then you had to either show yourself or like send in film. Like it wasn't as accessible as it is now. And so, who knows? And I wanted to go to K-State at the time, but then their coach got fired or whatever, and it was right before Bill Snyder came back. And so before he got announced as a head coach again, I was like, well, maybe that's a sign not to go there. You know what I mean? Like new coach. But then I get to go to Mizzou, and that was a pretty special moment. But even through that journey of Mizzou, it really wasn't until my last year that the NFL felt attainable. I think it's always our goal, but my first year I get redshirted. My second year I'm rotating in at left guard and right guard, never really starting. And so just kind of having fun playing football that year. And then after that year, my redshirt sophomore year is whenever the tackle career starts. And then my redshirt junior year, I tear my ACL. And so, you know what I mean? Like none of that sounds like a fairy tale ending. So I also tore my ACL in 2012, and then I had my oldest daughter in 2012. And so it was kind of like it happened for a reason, you know, when it did. Whenever she was born was kind of like, I was like, all right, let's get serious about football. If it's going to happen, let's see if it can. And we just kept winning my last year. And I just kept pass blocking and not giving up a sack. And then I remember South Carolina came into town, and I got to play Jadeveon Clowney. And I didn't give up a sack. He made some really cool plays, but I didn't give up a sack. And I think that game definitely helped me get drafted and get paid a little bit. Me and Jadeveon are friends, and we're cool. So I'm not hating on him at all. But it was kind of like the way my senior year kind of unfolded, like week after week, and the recognition our team started getting and then players started getting, I was like, okay, like I have a chance to, you know, go to the next league. And, but even at that, throughout the whole drafting process and whatnot, they told me I was going to go 4th round or later, probably undrafted. That's all what I heard all the way until the draft. And then I remember looking at my dad, and I saw Seattle get a couple extra picks. They love to trade, and they traded and got like 2 extra 4th round picks that year. And so I was like, I might go to Seattle in the 4th round. And then sure enough, they called me at the end of the 2nd round and they picked me. But, you know, Coach Cable tells me if they didn't pick me there, I was going to go in the next few. So who knows?
Yeah, that's very cool. I think it worked out quite well for him, honestly. Your journey definitely speaks to perseverance and stick-to-itiveness, and now it's come to the culmination of you being inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. I'm curious, what was it like? You know, obviously you were back here, back kind of in your hometown. You got recognized the week before the enshrinement in Lebanon. I just got to say, I don't know of very many people that we induct that have such strong roots. I mean, people in Lebanon, like you are almost like you're like a legend of sorts up there, I feel like.
Thank you. It's definitely an honor and you know, something I feel when I go back. But yeah, I went back on the induction was the 4th. The second, February 2nd, they inducted me in Lebanon Hall of Fame, which, you know, at the time I was like, I thought I was, but I was like, I'm definitely honored and I'll be there.
Yeah.
But no, it's kind of like how Russell Wilson felt in Seattle is like kind of like how I feel in Lebanon. And, it's a really cool honor, and I love going back there and being able to see the community. And so it was very special to be back there for the basketball game.
Absolutely. Well, and I just want to say it's apparent that they, like, you mean a lot to that community, and they showed out for you. I hope, I didn't see, I wasn't there for the thing in Lebanon, but I can imagine that they were probably busting at the seams for people to see you get recognized there. And they definitely had, a strong presence at the induction on Sunday. And it's very deserving. It's very deserving for sure. It's not something that we see right around here in Southwest Missouri a lot. We have a very specific brand of football, and to see guys make their way out of here is always, it's always kind of a special thing for sure. But I just got respect for guys that stay true to where they're from, man. And I can see that, that community and your impact there means a lot to you.
Well, their support for me has been pretty consistent. We had a little rocky, iffy moment during the anthem kind of situation with me and Mike Bennett. But, over and all, I'm very appreciative, and I do love the people of Lebanon. And, I think my tie to Lebanon is so strong because of people like Coach Christian and the relationship that me and him still have, and how involved he is with the city. And Bob Gardner, Justin Shadle, you go on and on. There's so many people that the Windsors, Charlie Brown, the Mathers, the Mudgers. I mean, literally, I could keep going, but the Wainers, the Roarks. But I mean, you know what I mean? There's so many people that I'm connected to, and somebody asked me about my relationships with teammates earlier on the phone, and I told them that I was one of the people that went and I seeked out making relationships with certain people. And so whenever people might not build further relationship with their coach other than coach and player, I want to get to know you so I can trust you in the darkest times or the best times.
Yeah.
And so, I'm very gracious that I built those relationships, because I could pick up the phone and call almost anybody in the town and have like a heart-to-heart conversation. So
it's very cool. Very cool. I heard that sentiment, not just even Lebanon, but your other stops, people that you worked around in football, just talking about how you were just such a team guy, and you cared about the guys you were on the field with, and you always had their back. And I think that speaks volumes, man. But you got up there for your speech, and I mentioned that it really hit home with me. It was very interesting to hear your thoughts just about the journey that you're on now in life after football. And obviously you've said that you're really looking forward to being a dad. And I know that that's one aspect of it, but you've also been on this body formation journey, if I can, this physical fitness journey. How's that been going?
It's been a fun one. I think I drive my wife nuts a little bit.
A little over the top with it.
Yeah, well, I'm not a professional, and what I do, I'm just kind of learning as I go, and things that I've learned as I've been playing. And so some of it might not be the best or have the best rhyme or reason to it, but whatever I've been doing has seemed to work, and it's been a fun process. I just got to the point where I mentioned in my speech that I went through anxiety and depression, and that's ultimately why I stepped away suddenly from football. And so I sat there, in the hole, if you will, like, whoa, me, trying to figure out life and not working out, not doing anything. And then eventually I was looking in the mirror and I was like, this is going the other way than I always said it would when I was done. Yeah. Because in the locker room, we're like, hey, when you're done, what are you going to do? And I'm like, I'm going to lean out. I'm going to have a six pack like I used to.
Yeah. Get under 3 days,
Yeah, I got up to like 320, and it didn't look like it did whenever I was playing. And so I was like, I want to make the decision to lose weight. And I just, lowered my carb intake. And again, no rhyme or reason to it, not professional. And don't ask me to give you the tips and tricks, because I'm still learning, but I've just been working out and having fun, and really that's about it. But I really don't have anything else to go on. I just wake up, take the kids to school, go work out, come home. Yeah, that's about it.
I'm curious, anybody that follows you on social media sees that you're in the gym constantly. What's your go-to playlist or your artist that you like to listen to kind of get you in the zone for the lift?
Sure. Well, if I'm not listening to classic rock, such as, like AC/DC, Ozzy, Motorhead, Metallica, et cetera, mm-hmm. Like right now I'm into this artist, NF.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. He's a Christian rapper. Yeah.
I like the beat, and kind of, his vibe to it. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it or what type of genre you would put it in.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's catchy to me right now. Or I'll just go to rap. So it kind of depends on what the day is. If it's leg day, it's going to be rock and roll of some sorts, classic to heavy metal.
Yeah.
Depending on what type of weight we're doing. But if it's a bench day, then I can literally bench to Zach Bryan, or I can bench to like Linkin Park. And so the only thing I can't listen to is screamo, but anything else is
a little too over the top.
Anything else is game. I'm down for anything else.
You're a Post Malone fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I got him tattooed on me.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw it in one video, man. You got a wide range. That's awesome. We want to take a quick break here. We want to remind all of our followers, hey, thanks for listening in. We've got a lot of other big time guests coming in season 3 of Where the Game Lives On. Tyler Hansbrough, UNC standout from Poplar Bluff. Also Michael Watson from UMKC. He's another inductee. They'll be joining us in March. We look forward to that. But back to our conversation we're having here. You were mentioning that you have a wide range of music, so it kind of goes with whatever you're hitting that day. If you're doing a chest day or a back day, that kind of how it corresponds.
For sure, and I think it kind of stems from my childhood. My parents, my dad liked Ozzy and that type of rock and roll and music, and so. Road trips, got enough of that, and country like Garth Brooks, George Strait. Sure. So, I think, and then I go to college, and then it's kind of a different environment than Lebanon, Missouri, and so I just get exposed to more culture, more different types of genres.
Yeah, absolutely. While we're still on the fitness journey, before we move ahead, I wanted to ask, this is a question we frequently have on when we have Springfield area guests. Obviously, you're kind of eating clean, cutting out the carbs, but I'm curious, you got to have that cheat meal every now and then. So the question is, whenever you're back here in the 417, whether it's in Lebanon or it's in Springfield, what's the one stop that you have to make? Where's the place you got to go eat?
Man. See, I'd love to say that it was Wayner's Bakery in Lebanon, Missouri,
okay.
But it's not there anymore.
Oh, that's too bad.
Maybe it should come back, but I don't know. That's a great question. That's a great question. It's hard to find a good Freddy's outside of Missouri.
Okay.
I should say that, but being in Seattle for so long, I feel kind of misplaced. While we were in Seattle, Cracker Barrel was hard to find, but that's out here in Houston. So I've been spoiled with a lot of the similar things that are in Missouri right now. But if you were to ask me while I was playing in Seattle what we'd miss, it'd be Cracker Barrel.
Oh, really? Interesting. You got some new answers for us. I think whenever we ask that question, the most typical ones we get are Steak and Shake, Lambert's, and then usually we get like the Andes. You an Andes guy? You like the frozen custard?
Sure. Lambert's is a good one.
Yeah, Lambert's is a good one. There you go. Yeah, no, it's solid for sure. It's solid. We've got some sports news we'll move on to. This past week, 8 Mizzou football players received invitations to the 2024 NFL Combine. This includes the walk-on standout Cody Schrader. You've also got the thicker kicker, Harrison Mevis. Several other guys that are looking to up their draft stock. You've been through this process. So I'm curious, how do you perceive it? How do you kind of view, all of the analytics and all these people that are kind of looking at you in a microscope during this, combine draft process?
Yeah. I just kind of went through the process, knowing that I was kind of a show cattle and people were looking at me as such. Like you literally go out there on the stage in just your drawers and you step on the scale and your weight gets announced to the whole room of scouts and coaches.
Wow.
You know what I mean? What's more show cattle than that?
Yeah, I know. It's
you go to, you know what I mean? Yeah. You're just trying to be the best looking cattle out there, especially if you're a lineman. But just enjoy the process. Know that, you're going to lack in nutrition and sleep while you're there. And it's kind of set up for a reason. How do you face adversity and how is this person going to comes such adversity. Like, for instance, I went to the hospital. You got to go to the hospital, get MRIs, X-rays, all that stuff.
Of course.
And I was coming off of ACL surgery my junior year, so they wanted to take a look at that. Well, I get there, they do X-rays, and they're like, all right, you're good. I get back to the hotel, sit down with my plate, boom, sat down, forked the food. I was about to bite it, and they're like, Britt. I look up, and they're like, you're back. You got to go back to the hospital. I was back at the hospital for like another 2.5 hours getting MRIs and CT scans.
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
it's like, I think they do it on purpose, just kind of throw curveballs and see how people take it. But it was a very cool experience to be there. The players deserve it who are there.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the biggest job interview of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I thought we'd get a little kick out of it. You had mentioned earlier in the episode that you thought you kept hearing 4th round, maybe later. You ended up going in the 2nd round, 32nd pick to Seattle. So obviously increased your draft stock, but I thought we'd have a quick laugh reading off some of your weaknesses that came from your draft combine analysis. It says here that you fall off blocks and do not finish. Very average sustaining, limited body control and recovery speed, which I would say is very inaccurate for a guy that was going in as a tackle. Also says late to reach block point on second level, does not create movement in the run game, gives too much ground in pass protection. Very interesting on that one too.
Whoever wrote this hated me.
I know, right? They gave you on an 8 scale coming out of Mizzou a 5.6 prospect grade out of 8, which is commonly described as a candidate for bottom of roster or practice squad. What do you think when you look back on that? A guy that started almost every single game of his career.
That's blasphemy. But it's just like the people. It's just like the people who worked at PFF. It's like. It's like your grading scale was, dare I say, asinine. It was baloney, and so, but the PFF got people paid who shouldn't got paid, and so it's. I just listened to that. I'm like, whoever wrote that like hated me. Must have been a Kansas fan.
There you go. Hey, so do you take it with a grain of salt? Do you just ignore it? Do you use it as motivation? What was it like for you in that time? Do you remember?
Well, it's kind of out of my control, whatever happened. Wherever I got drafted was completely out of my control. Yeah. And so they could say whatever they want. It was like the story was already written and the film's out there. So I knew that I was a finisher, and I gave up only 1 sack my last year. And it was basically to a DB who ran right around me. Like he was just faster than I could back. It was just some BS, like a BS sack. And I gave up 1 sack in the SEC. You know what I mean? And so I'm grain of salt for sure.
People are gonna hate. People are gonna hate. They're gonna doubt.
Yeah, I was lineman of the week a couple of times, so it was like whatever. Like
you can't measure.
That's why I'm like wherever I go, I go. So.
Yeah, you can't measure the mentality. You can't measure the toughness. You can't measure the work ethic. All things that I think went into a lot of what made you a professional and just an overall great lineman for sure.
I think I did shock myself how quick I was able to step in and make an impact, and how. Because, you hear all this talk and then you go in the 2nd round, they're like, you're a guy, like, come on. And it's like, maybe there's some confidence that needed to be built, at some point, but, I think I did surprise myself, and I had to catch up to the confidence that I was displaying out there. But, at the end of the day, it's just football. It's the same thing we've been doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone just gets a little bit better every time you go up a level.
Well, and and beyond that, you even showed the versatility within your career. You have some time at left tackle, you moved to center. What kind of adjustment was that like? Did it seem was it just ball, or were there other things that you kind of had to really focus on in your game?
No, it was a whole different world. But I went from right tackle to left guard to center. So it was like, the move from tackle to center was a little bit slower of a transition. I didn't get thrown into a phone booth as quickly as I would have if I went from tackle to center.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, because they put me at guard, I kind of got the buffer, the blend of tackle and center, and I got to kind of go through the struggle year that year. And then when I officially moved to center, and I think my first year in center, they gave me a Pro Bowl alternate, and which was a really cool honor. But I think that was because my confidence. I didn't have fun at guard, so whenever they moved me from that, I was so happy to just not be a guard anymore. I couldn't figure it out. A lot of people like playing guard. I couldn't figure it out. So
yeah, being across the line, having several different starting spots from the line of scrimmage, you faced a variety of pass rushers, right? I mean, you go from the D end rush guys, the overhang linebackers, to these D tackles. Who was a guy in your career that you said, man, this dude, like this guy's a problem. We got to contain this guy. Who was that guy?
Well, I mean, it's got to be Aaron Donald, right? There's not a lot of people that you have to game plan around them. And this run play is designed to eliminate him. You know what I mean? Or if there's no outside blitz threat, then take your double team to 99.
To him, yeah.
Slide to 99. You know what I mean? So it was just kind of, you had to do that. And I don't love the guy, but I respect the heck out of him.
Respect the game. Respect the game. Hey, we'll go there. We can go there.
Yeah,
you brought him up. There was something you posted on social media recently where somebody was reacting to an old video of him coming up to you after a game. Just speak to it as you wish. We've probably got this video somewhere. But what was that interaction like? What was it about?
Well, it was interesting because there was a play before the game, or before the end of the game, where Russ kind of gets hit when he's throwing, but it kind of looked like a fumble, but they didn't, like, we all thought it was an incomplete pass, which it ended up being, but they let it play, so like it was a fumble, and 99 picked up the ball and started juking around and running around like a kid, and we chirped back and forth as the game goes on, and so he caught me at the moment where I was kind of upset at him, and I was like, all right, I'm going to hit him no matter what. And it's not my fault that he stepped out of bounds before I got to him. So I hit him late, and he got mad and took offense to that and tried to, like, fish hook me at that moment. And then I thought that was the end of it. So whenever I saw him at the end of the game, it was kind of like, why are you here? And where are your shoulder pads?
No, he knew though that he had to bring his A game, right? When he came up to you after the game, didn't he put his helmet back on to come up and like talk to you?
Yeah, I've seen some people that are like, oh, we had to put his helmet back on, but like, if it was me, like, you think I'm gonna like go to the, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm probably gonna put a helmet on too, but I'm not gonna take my shoulder pads off.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I mean?
Stay armored up.
It's like, what you're doing a little too much. But if he would have just kept his shoulder pads off and did the same thing with his helmet, then it would have been fine. Yeah. But it just seems a little dramatic taking his shoulder pads off and then throwing it back on. And so that's what I kind of understand from the fans. But if it was me and I was angry, I'm throwing the helmet on too, because he's got one on probably. Yeah. I'm just going to have my shoulder pads on.
Well, either way, respect the game. Right. He's a guy. He's been a guy. He's a dog. But this is the last thing we'll hit on real quick. One of those kind of lighter things, but you always kind of had that swag, man. You always kind of had that sick helmet. You had a dope face mask with a visor. What did that mean to you? Was that kind of part of just getting in that zone of we're going into the arena here?
Yeah, sure. I think it was kind of, you would just kind of build this, this alter ego, this other personality, if you will. I think we all do it, and we have to on the football field. And so for me, it was just, I bought into the look good, feel good, play good. And so think we were playing in Detroit maybe, and I had this cut on my elbow and it was bleeding like crazy, and we had white jerseys, and I might have had the visor at that point, but like the bandage wouldn't stay on, and so they put a sleeve on. And I went out there, I was like, ooh,
okay,
this is nice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This feels great. And so that just kind of, I think when I entered the league, I didn't have swag. I was,
okay.
I think I dressed like NBA players dressed in the 90s. And the
baggy shorts.
Yeah. And my game day outfit was, like, you create a player, but then you don't edit them. That's me. But then I think towards the end of my career, I became more of a creative player. But you know what I mean?
Sweet, for sure.
You just kind of find yourself. But I liked watching the Pouncey brothers, the centers, Mike Pouncey, Marquise Pouncey. Yeah. And they rock the arm sleeves and whatnot. And so, you know, I was like, why can't linemen be cool? So
yeah. We're coming to the end of our time. We don't want to take up any more of your time than we need, but congratulations again on being inducted to the Hall of Fame. We're looking forward to your new journeys that you're having in life. And I know you're excited to just be a dad and watch your kids grow up, and really excited for you for that. But congratulations again. Hey, thanks for joining us too.
No, I appreciate it. I'm honored, and I look forward to the future as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, for all of our listeners, if you made it this far, thank you so much for joining us. We've got new episodes every Wednesday dropping, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. If you want to watch, we've got great guests like Justin coming on from time to time, and we appreciate them greatly. We appreciate you. So be sure to join us next time on another episode of Where the Game Lives On.